Hey everyone, Zeddy here again, today with a brand new video, and the Unholy Death Knight cards, they're being revealed. We're having 4 different reveals throughout the day. We're going to split it up like yesterday into 2 different review videos, so tune in a couple of hours. We'll go over the remainder of the cards, but there are a lot to go over in this video, including one of the legendaries that this is one of my favorite in a long time. I just think it's super cool design, as well as some other pretty interesting cards, which, by the way, if you want to win some of these cards, you may have heard, we have a giveaway going on where I'm giving away 2 mega bundles, 2 regular pre-orders out of my pocket. All you gotta do is like and comment in the video description below, you know, the video where I'm losing my shit. And I mean, by the way, that sweater looks awfully familiar. This guy needs to change his clothes, as well as subscribe to the channel. And for every 1,000 subscribers we hit until the 26th, when all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle. There's no limit, so hit that sub button, make me go broke. So we got the Unholy Rune cards, and we're starting off with a kind of a familiar card here. Nerubian Swarm Guard, a 4-mana 1/3 undead minion, requires 1 Unholy Rune, so you could still play a blood rune with it and a frost rune, so you got some flexibility here. And yeah, Battle Cry, summon 2 copies of this minion. So very reminiscent of Serenite Chain Gang. How long can this go on? And just like Serenite Chain Gang, if it takes a hand buff, it will copy all of those, right? So if it's a Keleseth buff, you'll get 3 2/4s, for example. And what's important to note is Death Knight really likes having minions die. They have the whole corpse mechanic that they want to fuel, in particular with Unholy Death Knight. A lot of their builds, it looks like, is all about killing stuff off and using corpses, and Nerubian will help that. It's also a defensive mechanism. You can play it with an anti-magic shell. There's a lot of good stuff going on with this card. It's not sexy. It doesn't trade amazingly well with only 1 attack, but I feel like it stalls. It fuels corpses. It could see play in certain decks. I will give this a 3 out of 5 in Standard and Wild. Look out for that. You know, Mr. Chain Gang, it's back in this version. We have the Possessifier, a 5-mana 3/3 minion, again requiring 1 Unholy Rune. Battle Cry, summon 2 1/1 fighters with Rush and Reborn, and they do not have a tribe, but basically each will attack for 2, right? You get a 1/1, it hits in, dies, comes back, it can hit in. So you're getting basically a 5-mana 5/5 plus another 2/2, and you're getting a lot of corpses being generated here. You're getting 5, right? You get the 3 initial bodies as well as the 2 1/1s that come back. So that's 5 corpses in 1 card. It's 4 damage as well. It's decent. I don't know this. Again, it's so hard to evaluate a new class with archetypes you've never played to really get the idea of how good they're going to run. But it's decent. It's a decent card. It's part of the core set. We'll all get it for free. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it sees play possibly. Again, it's not like overwhelmingly crazy or amazing, but at the end of the day, it's doing so many things for 1 card. And you just value that when you're doing so many good things with just 1 card. I think it could see play. So again, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 in Standard and Wild. We have the Dark Transformation. I believe we've already seen this, but I could be wrong. I'll go over it again anyways. 2-mana shadow spell, transform an undead into a 4/5 undead monstrosity with Rush. Again, 1 Unholy Rune required. And yeah, this is like a polymorph effect depending on how you want to do it. You can hit a 1/1 and then you get a Yeti, a 2-mana Yeti with Rush. It's just really good on any 1/1 on the board. And the monstrosity itself is an undead, right? Like as it says. This is really kind of, it's got some potential here. It can be used defensively, it can be used aggressively. There's a lot of different ways this card could be used, and as a result, again, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think it can slot in. Just play a 1/1 on turn 1. They don't kill it, you got a 4/5. You got a Yeti. On turn 2, it's like Innervate Yeti with more steps. So it's probably not amazing, but I'll still give it a 3 regardless. We have the Bone Digger Geist, a 2-mana 2/2 undead, 1 Unholy Rune required. Battle Cry, spend a corpse to gain +1/+2. It's Totem Golem without Overload. It just requires 1 friendly minion to die, so you really need to play something early, right? Like this kind of card is typically really good when you play it on 2. and not so much later, although you can like fill out your mana curve. You're playing like a Zeus style deck. Again, not terrible. Core set card, we'll all get it for free. I'm gonna give this one a 2. I'm gonna say this one's a little bit lower on the end of good, because if you play it, you know, if you don't have a corpse, this card's a 2-mana 2/2. It's really bad. And I feel like all these other cards are just good all the time. And I don't know, the upside of it is probably not worth it in today's Hearthstone, but maybe I could definitely be wrong on that one. This card's really interesting. We have the Unholy Frenzy. It's a 3-mana rare spell, again requiring 1 Unholy Rune, and this will be part of the Path of Arthas set. Choose an enemy minion, so it's like Devouring Swarm. Your minions attack it like that, except you resummon any that die. So not only like Devouring Swarm was the 0-mana hunter spell where it did the same thing, except they would go back to your hand. Well, this time they all attack in. If they die, you get them back. Again, that's fueling your corpses. It's like an AoE effect on like, well, I guess it's a really good single target removal on something big, as well as, yeah, corpse fueler. So a lot of good stuff going on with this card. No spell school or anything like that, but really interesting. It is a bit expensive, 3 mana in a deck that's probably going to want to be going like wide of being efficient. So I don't know how good this will be. I just think it's an interesting card. I just don't know how good it'll be, but really interesting effect. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it can pop into certain decks, especially if you have like reborn stuff coming back. They'll come back as a reborn minion with their other part. There's a lot of moving parts of this one that could be pretty good, but it also could just be a dead card that doesn't do a heck of a lot too. So look out for that one. But again, I will give it a 3, just not entirely sure. Next, we have the Meat Grinder. It's a spider tank, 3-mana 3/4 mech. Again, 1 Unholy Rune required. Part of the, this is actually an expansion card. Battle Cry, shred a random minion in your deck to gain 3 corpses. So I'm gonna assume it's like the patch, just the card that like destroys a minion in your deck. It won't devour anything, but basically what it's going to do is just sacrifice some random minion in your deck, and then you'll have 3 corpses to use for whatever cards you have next. Really interesting design, self-sacrifice, premium stats, corpse generation. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of better ways to get corpses than this. We see all these rush tokens, all these self-sacrificing things. It just depends on how badly you need those corpses, and a card like this can do that. However, it can also eat up one of the cards, one of the minions, depending on like what you're playing, that you really don't want to eat, that maybe want to utilize those corpses. So I don't know. I'm going to give this a 2. I'm a little bit skeptical just because it could backfire, and as well, I just feel like you're not going to struggle that much for corpses. But again, so hard to evaluate without playing them, but I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in standard and wild. And well, this is the legendary I was talking about. Really cool card, Blight Fang. This is a 3-mana 3/3 beast, again requiring 1 Unholy Rune, but it has one of the coolest battle cries I've seen in a long time. Battle Cry, infect all enemies with Death Rattle. Summon a 2/2 zombie with taunt for your opponent. That's right, this is like the ultimate like token hate card. You're facing like a deck that goes really wide, an aggro deck, a token deck. Blight Fang will get every minion of theirs, and I'm assuming the hero. It says enemies, so if I kill my opponent and when they die I don't get a 2/2 taunt, I'll be very upset because it says enemies. But yeah, you give them all, you infect them, and then when they die, you get a bunch of 2/2s. Like you get a bunch of tokens on the board, and that could fuel all your corpses and all sorts of stuff. This is a very meta-dependent card. If there's not a lot of board-based decks, a lot of wide decks, Blight Fang, not going to be that great. We've seen that like Wing Commander Mulverick, right? For like Druid, the honorable kill guy. But that one's way more like situational. You got to be able to like kill stuff with increments of 2. This just hits minions, and it's good. I have no idea how good this card is. To me, it's a good shot that it's just like, it's too clunky. It's a 3-mana 3/3 get like a 2/2 delayed effect a lot of the time. It's gotta hit a wide board, but I just think it's a rad card. I think it's a really cool design card, and it's an expansion card as well. I'll give it a optimistic 3 that it'll see play against a lot of these token-based strategies, but they gotta be there. They gotta be existent. They are right now. There are some of them out there, so it's possible, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But it's just a really cool card. And well, moving on to the 2 Unholy Rune minions here for Death Knight, we have the Battlefield Necromancer, 2-mana 2/3. So we got River Crocolus in stats. At the end of your turn, oh, we already seen this one. We've actually already seen this one. But yeah, it's the one that keeps resummoning Arisen Footman with Taunt as long as you have a corpse. So we've actually already gone over that one. But let's take a look. We've already seen Army of the Dead. I'm just going over this as they're being revealed. Okay, we actually have a new card here. Necrotic Mortician, 2-mana 2/3. Again, River Croc, Blizzard. Are we a little obsessed with River Croc? A battle cry: if a friendly undead died after your last turn, discover an unholy rune card. We haven't seen a lot of generation for Death Knights. I believe the Frost have that one removal spell, 2-mana deal 3, get another Frost rune card. So now we're seeing this for Unholy Rune card. You needed undead to have died the prior turn, so there's a little bit of a setup required here. A little bit awkward, but I feel like you're gonna have undeads dying a lot. And again, discovering any Unholy Rune card, I feel like this could be really good. The majority of them are very strong, and it's a small pool, and I just think this is a card you're probably going to want to run. There's not a lot of value. There's not a lot of value, not a lot of draw that I've seen. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 3. I think it's a staple. I think it's not, again, not like amazing, but I think it does see play in these decks for that reason. There's just not a lot of generation, but maybe you just don't need it. It's like day 1 Demon Hunter that just murdered everything. We have, oh my God, Yermerjar, Deathbringer, 3-mana 3/3. Again, these all require 2 Unholy Runes in this little video. Taunt, Death Rattle, spend 3 corpses to summon a 3/3 Risen. Dude, why do we have to have the name on here twice? Yermerjar with Taunt. So it's a 3-mana 6/6, but you need 3 corpses. Like, that's a lot to get on like turn 3. Or, you know, you can get it later, obviously, but I just feel like this one, I don't know, it feels like it might be a little bit clunky. It might be hard to get those 3 corpses. We've seen a lot of 3-mana 6/6 cards lately, pretty much for Rogue, whether it was like, you know, the Thief card that sees like no play despite the fact people play Thief decks, and the Pirates that you could prep out that don't really see play either. So maybe this wouldn't be good enough, but they both have Taunt. It's relevant. If you can get this active on turn 3 consistently, this card's insane. It's like a 4-star card, but I'm not sure of that. But I think it's good enough that probably it'll see play. I'll give it a 3, but again, it's like, you know, 3 corpses by turn 3 might be a little bit difficult, but with all the reborn stuff going on, maybe it is doable. We have the Tomb Guardians. This is a 4-mana spell, shadow spell. Summon 2 2/2 zombies with Taunt. Spend 4 corpses to give them reborn. So you need a lot more corpses again, and they come back as 2/1. So you get 2 2/2s and then 2 2/1s. It really doesn't seem that good. It is pretty annoying, don't get me wrong, but that just seems like really crappy bodies. You get like, you get 2 2s and then 2 1s. Like, that's just not that good in my opinion. And you gotta have 4 corpses to get that upside, which to me doesn't seem that great. So I'm gonna give this a 2, just because there's all these 2s, and I'm just not really sold on that one as being all that good. And then the last card, you gotta have a giant. You know, you gotta have a giant. 10 mana 8/8 undead giant, costs 1 less for each corpse you've spent this game. You're spending 3 or 4 really early on, then you have like 7. It makes this 3. I think this gets out cheap pretty quickly, and I think that's pretty damn good. I'm gonna give this a 4. If you're playing a corpse strategy, which this is what Unholy Death Knight is going to do, I mean, maybe it won't be good enough and it won't see play, I don't know, but at the end of the day, if it sees play, this card sees play in my opinion, because it's gonna get out pretty quickly for the amount of corpses you can get going pretty early on. You're playing 0 mana 8/8 or 2 mana 8/8 very quickly. This card, giants historically see play, and I feel like this one is pretty easy to get out pretty quick. So that's the card so far. Tune in a couple hours. We'll have a few more to go over, probably some legendaries, and we'll have like the 3 unholy, the most strict of the requirement cards to reveal or to review. So tune in for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.